Okay, we're going to be discussing our paintbrush procedures. Now, there's many types of paint that we will use in the art room. Every time that you are painting, you're going to have something that looks like this on your tray. This is our paintbrush house. Please understand that our paintbrushes are always in the house with their hair on top. Because if we put their hair on the bottom, then it crunches their hair and messes it up. So when you put the paintbrush back in here, when we take it out, the hair is always on top. So we will have someone, the table captain's job will always be to pass out the brushes to everybody at their table. This can go back on the tray or off to the side. On the tray, sometimes you're going to see a dog bowl. This dog bowl is where our water is housed. Now you got to be very careful. First of all, we never pick this off the tray. It always stays on the tray. And when we need to clean our brush, we only put our hair inside the water. And if you watch, I gently bounce up and down. Now, if you notice, as I do it, there is no water splashing outside of the dog bowl. So we always do that. When we pull our paintbrush out of it, depending on what we are painting, we all have a sponge over here that we dab our paintbrush on. Now, we never want to do this. The reason that we do not bang our paintbrush is because if you noticed, if you were standing next to me, you would have water all over you. Sometimes you may have paint on you. So you only bounce off the bottom, and then if we have a sponge over here, you dab on the sponge. The sponge does not get taken out of the other side. Now, there is two different types of paint I have right here. This is paint in a cup. If we are using this paint, make sure that your hairs are always going down in the paint and up. We don't want to stir any paint around, and we don't want to leave our paintbrush in there because it will tip this little cup over. Now, when you get paint on your brush, if we do not have water at our table that day, you will see that there is a big piece of paper. This is where we would wipe our brush off to get it clean. So that big paper, not the paper that you're using, but this is the paper that's on the table, you would just wipe your brush off until it is clean. So sometimes Miss Lawson will give you paint and there will be no water. This is like a big paper towel, and you just wipe your brush on the big paper towel till all the paint is off the brush. This is a different type of paint back here. This kind of paint, you do need to have water. So when you use these paints, I will have water because you have to get, and I'll have water on both sides. You have to get a wet brush, and then you have to lay it on top, and you have to wake the paint up, meaning you're making wet circular motions on top. And when you do that, the paint is woken up, and then you have to clean off the paint, and you want to keep your brush wet to go to the next color. Again, waking it up by making a circular motion will wake the paint up. So Miss Lawson has different types of paint. Again, we want to make sure that we use our paint brushes correctly. Your hands are always on the red handle or the white grip. The gold part is where you can put your fingers, but we just don't want to put our fingers in the hair. That's the farthest down I want to put my hand. So always make sure that when we go into the paint, down, up, bounce gently off the bottom. If we have a sponge to wipe it off on, or our big paper towel right here to wipe off our paint. So again, once we are done, I'm going to get my house, make sure my paintbrush gets back in my house with the hair on top, and then whoever's in charge of putting the tray back, that's our supply manager, will make sure all items are on the tray and return the tray to our back counter.